You are not the first to pass this way, nor shall you be the last. Those who seek the spirit of interactivity face peril and adventure, but more often find beauty and charm.
Billed as the world's first live-action immersive theme park, Evermore first welcomed World Walkers in 2018. Part Renaissance Fair, part high-budget live-action roleplay, or LARPing for short, Evermore invites visitors to explore its fantastical realms and become part of its ongoing story throughout their journey. As for just what that story is, in short, a time-traveling inventor came across several portals to new lands that open and close with each season. Each portal allows a certain sect of mystical characters to cross over. These range from your basic dwarves and elves to vampires and goblins during the Halloween season, and even Dickensian villagers during the winter months. The town of Evermore is overseen by 6 guilds, who all require a series of tests for you to join their ranks. Completion of these tasks will allow you to become a member of that respective guild and the ability to become a permanent resident of Evermore.
Get it? Got it. Good.
Thankfully, any prior knowledge of the park's backstory is helpful, but not required, as the level of immersion really depends on the visitor's own actions. Since the park has no attractions, save for a train that circles the property, the success of Evermore's narrative entirely relies on the social interactions visitors have with its large cast of characters, and by performing the aforementioned guild quests. Basic tasks include archery, ballad writing, sword fighting, treasure hunting, potion making, spell conjuring, and trading lawsuits with Taylor Swift.
What was that?
Yes, apparently Swift's latest album affected their merchandise sales so heavily that the park decided to sue the pop star, who in turn counter-sued due to the park playing her music without a license. You know, those classic medieval songs like Bad Blood and Willow. I stand corrected. Their more bizarre business practices aside, Evermore does deserve credit for its ambition in creating an 11-acre play space and its reliance on guest participation to dictate its world building. Evermore's creator and CEO, Ken Brettschneider, equates his part to a real-life Westworld, just minus the sex robots, explaining, "What this means is it's not just you that's coming to Evermore for the day or the evening and playing through for that day. It's every time you enter. The residents of Evermore, as well as other guests, will start to build your personality and persona and continue to be part of this living, breathing world." Whether or not Evermore's model will be feasible in the long term remains to be seen, with many reporting a disparity between the practicality of the park's promises and its lackluster execution. That said, it still remains one of the most prominent cases of blurring the lines between theme parks and immersive theater today. Speaking of theater, Broadway has been employing interactive elements for years now, for better or for worse.
Howdy, folks!
Oh no, please do not make me interact with the performers. You know how much I hate the hey!
Hares crowd-surfing hippies and please God no cats lap climbing felines were among the first to bend the fourth wall.
Stop that! You're not going into a song while I'm here.
The Tony Award-winning Once has an actual bar on stage, allowing audience members to grab a drink before the show. And the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee selects several lucky members to participate in the titular bee, spelling words alongside the cast. Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 transferred its cabaret roots to Broadway by erecting an entire seating section onto the stage itself, encouraging audience members to become part of the action. Based off of Tolstoy's War and Peace, all you really need to know about is
there's a war going on out there somewhere, and Andre isn't here.
Besides merely interacting with the performers, some plays and musicals take it a step further and ask the audience to determine the outcome of the story. Ayn Rand's 1934 courtroom drama, The Night of January 16th, has the audience assume the role of the jury and collectively determine if the character of the defendant is innocent or guilty. The Mystery of Edwin Drood, based off of Charles Dickens's unfinished final work, has its audience vote for the murderer at intermission, with the cast then performing one of 7 possible endings, while Trail to Oregon, by Star Kid Productions of Harry freaking Potter fame, lets audience members not only choose the characters' names, but also who will die of dysentery, a staple of the video game it's based on. Today, immersive theater continues to stretch the boundaries of visual performance, stepping off of the Great White Way and into a physical location, such as an actual meat pie shop for a 2017 production of Sweeney Todd.
The audience becomes the third character. I mean, no matter what, we have to relate these songs to them and with them. And as a result, that changes our show because you never know how they're going to react.
Or across 5 separate floors of a fictional hotel, as is the case with Punch Drunk's Sleep No More, a film noir retelling of the Scottish play that unfolds over 3 hours with most scenes happening simultaneously, leading the mask-wearing audience to choose which actor to follow next, and sometimes even being forced to experience certain scenes alone. This style of storytelling has since been adopted by theme parks, as seen with Knott's Berry Farm's Ghost Town Alive. While previously discussed in our study of shared universes, Ghost Town Alive continues to be the reigning champion when it comes to theme park live-action immersion, building an entire town's worth of characters and stories to interact with. Like Sleep No More, park guests can choose to follow a series of intersecting storylines throughout the day, and much like Evermore, even perform optional tasks for the townsfolk. Good Samaritans are rewarded by becoming a member of the sheriff's posse, while ne'er-do-wells land in the county jail. Of course, there is no more famous an inmate than Sad-Eyed Joe, Knott's own interactive jailbird, who's always happy to impart a story to passers-by.
Hey, good to have you here on the farm. You know, we've been closed for a while. I
Yeah.
had no idea because I'm in jail. Every day's the same for me.
Sad-Eyed Joe was just the first in a long line of interactive characters that today include everything from alien shop owners to talking fountains and shrunken heads.
It seems like he's just hanging around.
Yeah.
Hanging around!
He doesn't have the fortune to be standing around like most of us.
Not so much. Now, are you...
Be nice.
Epcot played host to several interactive robots in the early 80s, starting with Communicore's Smart One, who possessed basic speech recognition and could respond with a yes or no to guest questions.
Let's see. According to my calculations, the number you picked was 9. Thanks for playing. Stop by later if you want to play some more.
Gyro and later Horizon's own Gyro, short for GE Robot, could also be found wandering Future World and conversing with visitors.
You like pink, don't you? Yes, you like pink, don't you? Alright, I'll talk to someone else.
Disney's Living Character initiative in the mid-2000s saw the creation of several free-roaming animatronics, beginning with the beloved Push the Talking Trash Can. Designed by Daniel Deutsch, versions of Push could be found at every Disney resort for nearly 2 decades. Similar to Gyro and Gyro, Push's technology relied on a nearby undercover puppeteer utilizing a radio transmitter and voice-changing microphone. Sadly, Disney chose not to renew Push's contract when it expired in 2014, but he will always continue to live on in our trash-loving hearts. Later additions to the LCI included Wall-E, Lucky the Dinosaur, Remy the Rat of All Our Dreams, and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker's Mobile Muppet Labs.
Alright, Beaker, that's enough. There's no crying in science.
Disney initially promised to have living droids roaming throughout Galaxy's Edge, and even tested them in Tomorrowland. But they have yet to materialize on planet.
No dogs allowed.
Several interactive animatronics still exist within attractions themselves. At California Adventure, Roz makes sure Monstropolis visitors know that she is always watching.
Man, in the first row, is that your husband? Good thing, he was winking at me. Sir, I'm single too.
And Mr. Potato Head serves as the carnival barker for Toy Story Midway Mania. Just don't ask about the ear. And no interactive animatronic list is complete without a mention of Universal's E.T. adventure, which, thanks to some handy intergalactic passports, ends with the titular alien personally thanking us for saving his acid trip of a planet. While not technically alive, D23 Expo's autonomatronics are the first generation of animatronics to be able to see, hear, and think for themselves.
Oh, let me see your face. What it looks like to be so famous. Oh, that is, yes! Oh, you are a legend.
First introducing Otto in 2009 and the Great Destiny in 2011, we've certainly come a long way since Smart One.
Hey, Gladys! I found a face! Good! And is that face smiling? Well, let's see. Hey, they are smiling! Great! And how does that make you feel? Better!
And I, for one, can't wait to live in a world where when Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates will actually eat the tourists. Stemming from this idea of interactive animatronics are the increasingly common animated interactive shows, beginning with Turtle Talk with Crush. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor and Tokyo Stitch Encounter all play off of this concept, with even the Disney Cruise Line getting in on the act. Recently, Imagineering has even begun testing with a live actor in place of an animated one.
Jingles, were you having a little bit of a hard time understanding me?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I thought. But that's why I made this place. It's my voice amplifier. Makes my voice louder so I can talk to mainlanders like you.
While long since closed, Las Vegas' Star Trek experience beamed tourists to the bridge of the Enterprise D, which was populated by a host of live crew members. This multi-part journey began as a walkthrough experience and culminated with a simulated flight over early 90s Vegas. The later Voyager-inspired Borg encounter added a horror element with Borg actors trying to assimilate riders as they escaped a dreaded Borg cube. This may all sound oddly similar to a certain recent attraction based off of a famous John Boyega starring sci-fi series. Yes, Indonesia's Pacific Rim's Shatterdome Strike takes riders on a kaiju-filled battlescape, with two separate walkthrough portions including one through the innards of one of the gigantic monsters. Coincidentally, Shatterdome Strike opened the same year as the more well-known Rise of the Resistance, which has recruits interact with both members of the Resistance and the First Order. And while Galaxy's Edge's vision for land-based interactivity may not have met the mark, Rise's cast members more than make up for it, with the imposing First Order officers often serving as the highlight for the entire attraction. The upcoming Star Wars Galactic Cruiser will take Rise's model and expand it over a 3-day stay, providing guests with an itinerary chock full of interactive and immersive events. Who knows how successful it'll end up being, but hey, at least the lightsaber's pretty. Rounding out this category, an enormous range of interactive experiences, including everything from murder mystery dinners and shadowcast films, to escape rooms, virtual reality arcades, and art exhibits. Entertainment mogul Meow Wolf has a series of interactive installations, with their recently opened Omega Mart taking Las Vegas visitors on an interdimensional tour of a psychedelic superstore, where not everything is what it seems. The format has even been applied to such classical artists as Monet, Klimt, and Van Gogh, though the latter is not nearly as interactive as Doctor Who would have led you to believe. Themed restaurants, a concept that you all know is near and dear to my heart, have featured a wide variety of interactive components. Classic venues like the Jekyll and Hyde Club rely on live actors and animatronics, while modern installations such as Tokyo's Team Lab Borderless utilize projection mapping and lighting elements to bring your food to life. As for projects on the immediate horizon, the Evermore-esque Storyville Gardens will transport visitors from Nashville, Tennessee to a variety of globally inspired literary worlds, in an effort to encourage readership in children. While still a few years from completion, it seems Storyville is posed to continue the long-standing traditions of interactive experiences and become another staple of the genre. For interactivity's spirit has always been, will always be, adventure.